Katie, how are you?
Hey, doing good. How are you doing?
Thanks for joining me so early. I just wanted to talk to you about just kind of your role on, for example, Night Court, which we just wrapped up, and kind of like what a typical day would be like for you.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Katie. I am the assistant coordinator over on Night Court, which is how I know Hugo. And essentially, a typical day for me is getting into the office and making sure the small details are taken care of. So I work in the production office very closely with the production coordinator, producing team, accounting, and a team of PAs to make sure that the production just keeps running and that essentially all the other departments, cast have what they need to do their job throughout the day. A typical day for me is starting pretty much when crew call is or before, making sure that the crew can get onto the lot, get to the location that they need, distro any documents, so like any call sheets, production reports, camera
Mhm.
reports that people need to get paid and just do their jobs. I'm the one that facilitates just kind of the distro. So it's more of being like a hub for information comes into me and then gets dispersed to the people that need it. A lot of small details, it's a lot of logistics, but it's fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, for example, for us in our department, we rely on you and your team a lot, especially at the very beginning, because we have to hook up to Wi-Fi, we have to hook up to printers, we have to know where we're gonna park, and it's like a lot of little things that if it didn't run smoothly, we would be wasting a lot of time trying to get set up. And I think that's where we're able to communicate the most is just kind of like figuring out our rhythm so that the rest of the season goes really smoothly.
Absolutely. It's kind of getting the small tools set up in place so that like Hugo's art department, costumes department, has the everything they need to just do their job. So our job is being done well if kind of nobody knows what we're doing in the background. So if it's, assigning parking spaces, it's all done ahead of time. We work really
Mm,
closely with the studio operations team before everybody else starts to make sure that we have a plan in place so that when the crew arrives, when cast arrives, there are no questions. We can just execute exactly what we've planned to do and, hopefully just put out minor fires throughout the season. So
yeah, for example, like what's kind of the skill set that you rely on to get this kind of work done so quickly and so easily? And also, uh, what's a typical kind of number of people that would be on your team? And does that change from project to project?
yeah, absolutely. I'll start with the number of people on the team from project to project. It
Hmm.
can differ. We work on a sitcom, and our sitcom
Right.
has a good number of people for having one location for a show that's pretty stationary. So we work
Hmm.
on a team with two to three PAs, myself, and then production coordinator would be our department essentially. That's pretty basic show to show. You might add a supervisor in above the production coordinator or a production secretary that helps with distro, but that's kind of the setup. And then what was the first part of your question? I completely forgot it.
Yeah, as far as like because I know you guys can have like tricky situations like throughout the day or episode to episode, like tasks can be shifting. So like kind of like
Skill
what do you
set.
guys rely on? What do you guys
Yeah,
rely on
it's
to get all that taken care of? Is it like are you just always by your phone? Is it like yeah.
yeah, the skill sets we mostly rely on, like the tools we use, is computers and phones. It's basically as much of an office job as you can get on set. We're the production office, so if the phone rings, we're the first ones to pick up and assist with what's ever needed. And then I'm on my computer pretty much all day long, making sure that as emails are coming in, you're helping, again, just helping answer questions as needed. For me, the biggest kind of tools that I use of my skill set is being organized, um, logistics. So being able to prioritize, hey, you've got different things coming in. This one's the most important. Start there. It needs to be
Hmm.
solved immediately. These things can be handled throughout the week. And just efficiency. It's a big source of
Hmm.
information. So making sure that you have the correct information, not being afraid to ask questions, so that when you give the information, the crew knows what's going on. So it's a big just kind of being able to take it in, digest anything, and then, being able to spit it back out to the people that need it.
Yeah, and I was just thinking as you said that, I think that it's also really important and useful to you too that you communicate with the specific studios so much as well, like as far as organizing with Warner Brothers or Universal, whatever it would be, that you guys have that back and forth, not only with us, the crew and the show, but also with the whole studio itself.
Yeah, it's kind of the most, it's a part of the job that I enjoy is that we end up working a lot with the operations team, studio to studio.
Hmm.
And we have a lot of outside contacts off the show as well. So, be nice to the people that you're working with because at the end of the day, like they're the ones that are also helping you out as much as you can help them and provide them with the information that they need. So,
Right.
it's really important to kind of build that symbiotic relationship with the studio and if you're working with your casting department, anybody that's kind of ancillary to maybe shooting on set, it's important to build those relationships, keep them kind of in good condition because you guys are relying on each other so much.
Yeah. Well, we met as assistants on Big Bang Theory, of course, but
Yeah, we did.
how did you land in this spot? How did you
Yeah.
feel? Yeah.
I'm from Philadelphia originally, so go birds. But I
It's
I
always
moved
sunny
out.
there.
It's always sunny. That's what they keep telling me. Although it's these ice storms. Currently, there's ice storms. Um, yeah, I moved out here and I landed the role in the position just by honestly just trying to get my foot in the door constantly. I've been lucky enough to kind of jump from different aspects of this industry, whether it be talk show, unscripted, scripted, as a production assistant. So the more people that I was able to meet on set, the better the connections I had.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of how I was able to navigate my way into the job I have currently. Hugo and I, we met on Big Bang Theory. I
Hmm.
was also working on a show called Mom at the time with our production coordinator now, who was also an assistant, and
Hmm.
kept up that relationship. And years later, when we both had gotten to different points in our career, was able to be hired on because of that connection that I made. So it's moving to LA and not having a connection in the industry is you have to be unafraid of reaching out to those that are around you that you're building and constantly networking. It's definitely the most important thing out here. And, no job's too small because you just don't know who you're going to meet.
Yeah, I remember just volunteering to go push the light buttons like for a play because it was a bunch of Chuck Lorre people that were involved in it. And just to like get myself to be able to be around them all the time, I took that gig with no interest of being like in that
Absolutely.
world at all. But that led to, being on Mike and Molly, and then all of a sudden now I know that part of the studio. And I think that's what kind of showed me about, it doesn't matter that even if I don't want to pursue a career in that specific area, as long as like you're out and meeting people and having them know what you're all about. Because ultimately, I mean, I know you in your department, I feel like you guys, it's very crucial that you guys are able to mesh together with whoever you guys hire. And so I think that was kind of a way for me to figure out who I blended in well and where my kind of route or journey was going to take to.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about this industry is you kind of being an outsider to it and not growing up in it, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Hmm.
So, like you said, our department is it's really important that you mesh well together, but it's also a really good learning ground. So if you can get a job as a production assistant, even if you don't want to be in the office, just being able to, see what that's like because so much runs through the office that you get a better idea
Hmm.
of what's going on in other departments. And then you can be like, oh, you know what? I actually really am interested in art. I'm really interested in camera. And it can be kind of a feeder program. So even if you're like, oh, I hate logistics, I hate being by a computer, I want to be on set, take your time. It will get there and just you know, be helpful and be honestly inquisitive of the people around you because they're the ones that can help you get here. Everybody's kind of striving towards their own goal and it makes it great out
Hmm.
here, but it also makes it um, difficult, but people are willing to help. And that's kind of the biggest thing is take the job for the contacts because networking is going to be everything.
Yeah, I think that was the story with me was at the very beginning was just being around all the departments all at once. So you're able to see where you kind of fit in this whole like big span of space that is production. So I think that, yeah, I think it's really important to know that you're not going to have all the answers, that you're going to show up and you're going to figure it out as we go. And the cool thing is that, I mean, we try to have fun with what we do. So yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, it's a fun business, right? Like it's built around making a product that is fun that people enjoy. So we're not solving cancer. We're not doing that. It's hard work,
right.
but at the end of the day, the office has fun and that's what's most important for a lot of crews, just to be able to get the job done because you're going to work long hours. Some of the job is going to be, a bit grueling, but if you have a good crew around you and you keep your kind of attitude up, honestly,
Mhm.
it makes it way easier.
And like for example, if you were to do this all over again, what suggestions would you give yourself?
Yeah, I if I were to do this all over again, I would start soon, and then more importantly, I was always timid about reaching out to people for help. I
Uh,
was very much grew up with the mindset of you're going to get the job on your own, you're going to work hard, and that's going to get you through. And I've learned more recently than I'd like to admit that like kind of reaching out to the contacts that you've made and being, hey, just checking in, seeing if you got any work really is important. So if there's like something holding you back from reaching out to somebody, just stay on people's radar. Don't be afraid to send that email, shoot that text, whatever it is, because you never know, you might hit somebody at the right time that they have
mhm.
a job that's perfect for you. And I think that really held me back before where I was like, I can do it on my own. It's not a big deal. The right thing will come. And you got to kind of create your own path sometimes. So don't be afraid to reach out to the people that you've made the connections with and the people you've worked hard to make the connections with.
Yeah, I remember, for example, for myself, I would also reach out even when I didn't need a job. Like I would
Yeah,
just say, hello, check in, just this is what I'm up
absolutely.
to. What are you up to?
Yeah,
Because even though I have a job now, doesn't mean that I'm not gonna be looking around in 3, 4 months or whatever it is. So and it's also, people that I also, like you said, that responded to me when I actually did need help figuring out what I wanted to do. So it's genuine relationships that you start building.
absolutely. And like you said, like not even when you just need a job, like if it's somebody that you connect with, keep that
Hmm.
relationship going offset. Hey, you
Hmm.
want to go get a drink, you want to go get coffee and catch up. Like, it doesn't always need to be about a job, but if you find somebody you've got that connection with who's, out here
Hmm.
doing what we're doing, then keep that relationship up. Absolutely. Because you guys will probably end up helping each other at some point.
That's right. Well, that's all the questions that I had for us today, but
Great.
thank you again. This was a
Of
lot of
course.
help.
Yeah, not a problem. Small details and logistics. Let's do it. So, no, thanks for having me. This is fun.
All right, have a good rest of your day and safe travels.
Thanks, Hugo. Have a good one.
Okay, bye, Katie.